Our guest this afternoon is Venerable Tenzin Tsapel. Tsapel is director of the Machig Labdron Nunnery in Bendigo, which is on the same land as the Atisha Centre and the Great Stupa. And she was project manager for the new nunnery for its design and building. Welcome, Venerable Tsapel.
Thank you very much. Very nice to be with you all and in your.
So the nunnery was recently completed. Have you moved in yet?
It was handed over on the 1st of April, and then we moved in sort of concurrent with our Easter course, so sort of slowly and got set up. So one nun's away on pilgrimage at the moment, so 4 of us have moved in, and we have a prospective new nun from South Australia joining in September.
So how many nuns are there?
We've got 5. We've got 5 resident here, but one's away at the moment. We've got a past resident who now lives in Melbourne. She's 81 and so nearer the family. And we've also got one on pilgrimage. And so we've got 5 with one new one coming in September, really on site. But our chair, the one who's left already, she's the chair of our board, but she can't come that often these days. Yeah.
So how did the idea begin? When did you decide you needed a nun's home? What was its genesis?
Well, Lama Zopa Rinpoche suggested, to make sure that we build accommodation suitable for people as they age and have more mobility problems, and rather than if we could look after them in the Buddhist environment, then that is preferable to, all of us would prefer that than going somewhere else. So he was suggesting build it to make sure, don't wait until you have those problems. So it's not only older age, but any time. And so Rinpoche mentioned that in 2011 when he had his stroke here at Atisha Centre. But I heard about it. I was on retreat at the time. And when I just had this sort of, that's a good idea, something in Bendigo would be good for nuns. And it was checked at the time, and there was a sort of little bit of work and a name given by Rinpoche. But I was then, after retreat, I offered service and was sent to Mongolia. And it was only when I came back in 2016 to assist with my mother that I then offered my services for the nunnery project. So we had, the nunnery project, yeah.
Well, you mentioned the name. Tell us about the name that Lama.
Machig Labdron is the name of a contemporary of Yeshe Tsogyal, so a consort of Padmasambhava, Guru Padmasambhava. And so just a Chod deity that she sort of started or had the lineage or gave the lineage of the Chod practice. And Lama Zopa Rinpoche has indicate or suggested or advised that we do that practice. So I'm the only one without initiation, so we're hoping to get an initiation from that within a year or so, or a year or 2.
And that would be the practice you'd be doing in your Gompa?
Well, Rinpoche wants us to do that, and so it'd be something we'd work out together and learn the tunes and hopefully get some tuition on the tunes. So exactly how that happens, I don't know. And we have made an invitation to Venerable Kadrala to give that initiation, but there's no time yet because we didn't have a nunnery when we made that invitation. So in principle, she's agreed. And so it's just a matter of, then she's got quite a bit of schedule, but then getting some time for her to do that.
Yeah. So, Tsapel, is it actually being built for older nuns or any nuns?
No, it's a FPMT nunnery for for nuns of any age, but the ones here are mostly 55 and over. So and with different levels of experience. Some are sort of mothers as well and done practice, but still done a lot of service as well.
How important do you think it is that nuns have their own home, as a solid place to be in?
Look, I think often it comes up about support, and people should need support and support, but unless you have accommodation, it's very, very, you can't really support in the real world because it's masses of expenses for somebody offering nuns offering time and things. And so in the past it's been, well, unless it's really up to the different communities of monks or nuns. Like, people are surprised, oh, haven't they built one for you yet? Haven't they built but it's sort of like we actually have to get together and build it ourselves. So I think that's, with my drafting background, I was really interested to make that happen. But still,
and where did you live before this?
Where did I live? Oh, well, because you have jobs, while you've got jobs at the centres, that's fine. But when you finish the job, unless you stayed at the same centre and they feel obliged, if you've been there, 2 years or 5 years or something, they don't really feel obliged to put you up for the whole life. And they can't, because the centres are built, Buddhism's new in the country, so there's no established sort of property.
No, I just remember when I came up, the nuns seemed to be in little pods and caravans. And
we did. We actually, the nunnery, we started to be visible as a nunnery when we bought some temporary cabins on wheels. So we did that. Really, we'd order them just before COVID, so we got them in 2020, and they were very useful because they're all matching, even though they're little individual bed sits with a shared bathroom, also on wheels, that we outside. They gave us an identity.
Yeah. So you mentioned, your building and designing background. So what did it actually mean for you to project manage? It's a big job.
Well, there was a lot of, first of all, we were doing a whole site master plan, which involved the stupa and Atisha, and we were then a project of Atisha. The monastery was already finished, so they didn't need any building. And that was actually it took about 18 months to sort of sort that out and work with a town planner and get drawings drawn up. And then we put it into council, and council, they didn't say no, but they didn't pass it. They said, oh, you've got to consolidate. You've got too many cleared areas. You've got too many things on there, and you're just building on too much of the site, because it's not a normal site. It's got special permission. And so we had to redo it, and we went with, we had to redo the, the master plan. But in the meantime, they seem to be happier just with individual little units of the master plan rather than the overall, because what happened was we were putting everything that we thought we'd need, and then we'd only build a small amount of it. And so then we found, so then, so we then made a more compact design that was 2-story on a smaller footprint, and rather than sort of a courtyard building. And then Rinpoche had approved the site when he came, and that was when he came in 2018, I think. He actually gave the approval of the site, and but then some more land came available that was actually part of the Green family. It was sort of an opportunity. So then we weren't sure, should we build up there or build down there? And so Rinpoche was again requested and gave advice. He took a little bit of time to get back to us, but 6 months later he said, look, that site doesn't come out anymore. It was in between Atisha and the monastery, and the monks thought, oh, don't come too close, and we were thinking, gee, we didn't want to be right in with Atisha Centre, because the view was always to be a separate legal entity. So he felt a bit squished, but didn't see him many places. And so then Rinpoche said, look in elsewhere, because this site isn't so good.
And
anymore. It doesn't
you ended up behind the Great Stupa.
yeah, yeah.
Sapel, when did the build actually begin? How long did it take?
Well, we got planning planning permission at the end of 2023, and we started in 2024. We had to redesign a little bit to bring the price down, but we started in March last year.
So
And
it was really quite a quick build. What was it like working with the local builders?
oh,
What did
they were
think
just
of
a
being on
dream
the
team.
were they?
They were very they've built it very beautifully. Like they've followed the plans, but they've taken a lot of care, and they also were really good communicators. And the initial, design, the initial, negotiating, because we put out 3 tenders, they did the best of the 3 in terms of how clear their tender was. And
Yeah.
then also when we wanted to bring down the price, they had some very good ideas of what could be adjusted without compromising the plan. So, and then all the different stages of the building, it was just very, very good workmanship. So we're delighted, and it's lovely to live in there.
Yeah. Oh, I think we have some photos to show people.
So
We have
this is our opening ceremony. So we've got our chair of our board. She's up from Melbourne for the opening ceremony, and Dumcho, who lives in Bendigo, joined us, and also we had one of the Loden Centre nuns, and then the monks and Geshe Rapton as well. So this was Geshe Rapton is our resident teacher. He's very caring and great, guide and stable, force for us here, which is lovely.
mm,
And the opening we did on Lama Zopa, the 2nd anniversary of his passing. And in a way, because it was his idea, it was really nice to share and offer the nunnery to him. So that was part of our, so this is the nunnery. Yeah. Can you see that?
Yes.
The accommodation building is the creamy one, and then the meditation hall with an art room or tsatsa room at the back. So that's the meditation hall. So actually that one, Geshe Rapton has sort of said, wait till we get the Buddha statue. So our lovely Buddha statue is finished and gold. Oh no, it's not finished.
Oh, beautiful.
There. That's the one we chose. It's about 1.26, and we had it golded and painted very beautifully. So we're delighted with that.
That's wonderful.
And so that's we've got the filling for it, but it's not actually filled. It's going to be the mantras go separately with the and then we'll make an effort to fill it here, and then consecrate it and put it in the nunnery. So when that arrives, when that is ready and consecrated, then we'll have a chance to consecrate the gompa and the whole nunnery together with some prayers. So this is this other statue is the Machig Labdron statue. It was actually it was
wow.
It was one of the Kopan Geshes, when the statue was found, and it was a lovely Machig Labdron, he said, oh, good to really get them to cut a hole in the back so it can be filled properly. Otherwise, it's just got a tiny lotus. So they did that work, and then they did full gold, which was lovely, and then painted the face. And really the artists have done a beautiful job. And so that's arrived at Kopan and is just ready to be coming. And that's about just over 1 meter high. So
beautiful.
It's similar size to a white Tara that Lama Zopa gave us for the nunnery.
And that will be in the gompa.
Yeah, it'll be the Buddha statue, which is bigger and in the middle, a bit similar size to the Atisha Centre statue, and then either side will be these other 2 statues. So it was very fortunate too, because the money thing is quite hard, getting.
Oh yes, we haven't talked about fundraising and
but we had some a
Yeah.
couple of friends. Yes, yes, but very, very nice. We had a couple of friends there that we could sort of help with the payments and stuff. So they're really ready to ship now, and that's
Yeah.
pretty exciting.
Mm.
So
And look, I mentioned fundraising. Well, it's a big project. How difficult was it? Because you were fundraising.
oh yeah, I felt a little bit like I'm going a little bit crazy, but also it's part of the what you need to know that you can't rest on your laurels. You've just got to keep going with the path. So it's an inner journey as well as an outer project.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I
So,
think, that's
go on.
really the main project too in anything we do. Where there's so many people helping all the time everywhere, but it does come down to the main project being the inner one, and it's not easy really when you're under the thumb screws.
So, yeah, no, it's a huge endeavour,
Mm.
and we commend you for it. And it's wonderful that the nuns have a home,
Yeah.
and it's very impressive. And looking back, um, what do you think you in particular have gained from it, and the nuns have gained from it? We've only got a couple minutes left, so
Sure. Look, I don't. Look. You can't. I have really been able to tell during the project the need and the workability of letting go and letting go. So you're always coming up against problems, but the idea of letting go and doing what you can. So you're not sitting back, you're trying to do what you can, but you're not worrying. I had to learn not to worry too much, that there's a way somehow. And I think you get the sense that, well, hey, now the karma's coming, like almost like you've done enough of the lack work, but you realize the karma's coming. So it feels much bigger than me and not really, it's a group karma
yeah,
really to have it. And
yeah.
it's a delight to see the nuns happy. And we actually got uh, sent a Buddhist one of our main lovely connecting friends and helpers was given a Buddha statue for the nunnery, to get to the nunnery, and so that was delivered from one of the people that was at Copan recently, and so this is His Holiness's offering to our nunnery, and
It's
we
wonderful.
just
Yeah,
were receiving it. So it was very, very
yeah,
joyful, and
yeah,
also just to see the nuns really happy to have a place to live, and it does feel quite like a nun's home, you
yeah.
know. So we feel very, very fortunate, and we've also got a big retreat coming up here. The Kala Chakra sealing is going in the Great Stupa, and we've got a big Kala Chakra retreat. And we'll be really happy to open it to nuns who are coming to that event.
And when will that be?
That's in September, mid-September.
That will be quite something with that
That will
room.
be quite something. The
We
initiation.
haven't talked about the Great Stupa. In fact, we haven't talked about a lot of things.
Yeah,
And I'd love to get you back another time just to talk about your path in the Dharma, because
yeah.
it's quite fascinating.
Mm.
But we've only got a brief time today, I'm sorry. But
Sure.
before I let you go, I wondered if anyone on the Zoom has any questions.
I have. Venerable,
Okay, Tracy.
I'm not. I do believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that this is the second nunnery you've built.
I did. It is my second nunnery.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Resig Nuns community. So
Chenrezig Nuns community, we started really in 92, and it was such a big idea to build our own accommodation that we built 3 retreat cabins, similar to our cabins here, but sort of square ones and on quite a steep slope. And they got built, and then we built 4 more, and then we built a facility building. So we had it really expanded. And then we started an education program. So that was very, very helpful. Yeah. And I think education is really a key element. Accommodation first, then education program for everyone. Like, the idea that ordination is one thing, but we all need education in the Dharma. It shouldn't be just monks and nuns. And that also allows that if people are sort of doing some further study and then they sort of see, well, actually I could do it as a monastic, that's when you get your new people coming in. So,
thank you, Tsapel. Any other questions? Okay, well, Venerable Tsapel, thank you so much. Congratulations on what you've achieved, both at Chenrezig and
we all
Atisha.
appreciate your help as well, Sakyadhita. So
well, I'll pass that on to our members, those of you who donated.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. As you can see, it has been appreciated. So,
yes.
Very
much.
Thank you very much. And well, as I said, we hope to have you back one day and hear the whole story.
Yeah.
Thank
Very
you.
good.